Are inhales as bad and dangerous as everyone thinks? Who knows? Let's find out! Today I'm going to share with you some patterns that I've observed over the past few years while practicing with dozens of vocalists that use inhale screams. I've observed three groups of people. The first one consists of those who started their vocal adventure by practicing inhale screams and they have no experience with singing, fry scream or false chord scream on exhale, or they tried to practice them but it was too difficult and they gave up quickly and focused only on inhales. The second group consists of those people who started to practice inhale screams once they set the technical foundation for singing after taking several singing lessons, or at least they mastered fry scream and false chord scream on exhale on a basic level, and after that they started to play around with inhales. So they started with exhaled vocals, singing, basic false chord scream, fry scream or both techniques, and after that they started to experiment with the inhales. And the third group consists of those people who find inhaled vocals uncomfortable or even painful regardless of their vocal experience. No matter how many different techniques they mastered, how advanced they are, inhales are simply not going to work for them. They are painful. Let's analyze the first group, those that started their vocal adventure by practicing inhales without any experience with exhaled vocals. If you are in this group, you are fucked. I'm just kidding, it's not as bad, but it's also not too good. Usually when inhale screamers start to practice false chord or fry scream on exhale for the first time, they struggle with using too much air, pushing too hard, using whisper, or constricting their larynx, or even neck and abs too hard. They try to kind of turn inside out their inhale scream in order to transform it into an exhale scream, but instead of achieving a good, powerful, comfortable sound, they end up being constricted. Their voice, their throat are blocked. It's because inhale screaming is developing a set of different habits, a different type of muscle work, different patterns of movements and muscle memory than exhaled vocals. So it's very difficult to use what you learned from inhaled vocals for the exhaled ones. Those are two different things. And by practicing inhales, you, for example, don't practice proper breath support, coordinating your core muscles with the airflow and the larynx. So you don't know which muscles and how much those muscles should work in order to create the support. So it's very easy to contract your abdomen way harder than it's necessary. You also don't know how to compress the vocals because instead of compression, you are using a very high air pressure that is created by inhaling the air. So you don't need any compression. It's kind of created when you inhale. You also don't know how to properly use the resonance, how to let the sound that is created inside of your larynx to reach various places in your body that make your voice become bigger, more sonorous, deeper and richer in various frequencies that make you sound more powerful without pushing too hard, without using too much air and without whispering. So you simply lack a technical foundation that can be achieved by practicing singing or learning a basic false chord scream or fry scream. With the fry scream it's even worse because the most of inhaled screams are actually inhaled fry screams. So if you learn inhaled fry scream and you develop a set of various habits, muscle memory, it's very difficult to all of a sudden turn it inside out and create an exhaled scream because your body is used to instead of So it requires a lot of focus, a lot of active work and breaking a lot of different habits in order to make your brain and your voice act in a different way than what you are used to. And that's the most frustrating part for the most of people that I practiced with. And a lot of them gave up and focused only on inhales. Shortly, the problem is caused by developing a different set of habits, different type of muscle memory that works perfectly fine for inhales, but it's really hard to apply it for practicing exhales in a comfortable and effective way. Those are simply two different types of phonation. And before we will move to the second group, I want to add that I have never met a person who is very good at inhales that struggled with any kind of pain, discomfort. Usually when they are good at it, they sound good, they also feel good. And in such a situation, their only struggle is practicing exhales. And now the second group, the people that started practicing inhaled screams once they set the right technical foundation for exhaled vocals by practicing singing, or basic fry scream and false chord. This group can be divided into two subgroups. The subgroup A consists of those people who find it easy to switch between inhales and exhales, and practicing inhales doesn't hinder the progress of their exhaled vocals. It also doesn't cause any kind of irritation, extra fatigue, and doesn't lower the quality of their exhaled screams. Those people usually became semi-advanced or advanced before practicing inhaled screams, so their technique was good enough, consistent enough, sustainable enough to not be messed by practicing inhales. And the subgroup B consists of those people who find it a bit more difficult, more challenging to practice inhales and exhales at the same time, and for instance, practicing inhales for longer time makes their false chord airy, their fry scream whispery or constricted, and their voice is getting tired much faster. What usually helps in such a situation is practicing inhales for a shorter time and focusing more on the exhales. So for example, you practice exhaled vocals 2-3 times a week for 20-40 minutes, and you practice inhales only once a week, for example for 10, 15 or 20 minutes. And during the first weeks of practice, you avoid practicing inhales and exhales on the very same day. And if you do it, you keep the proportions on the advantage of exhales. And after a few weeks of practicing that way and observing the optimal balance, the proportions between inhales, exhales, what should be improved in both techniques to make them more sustainable, more comfortable, more effective, there's no problem with practicing inhales and exhales and using both types of phonation during a gig or rehearsal or own practice. What works best for the most vocalists I've talked to is focusing mainly on the exhales. Let's say 80% of vocals in their songs or their gigs are exhales and the rest are inhales. So the inhales are just a small addition to what they do with their voice. And usually in such a case they never experience any negative impact of inhales on their voice. Okay, and now the third group, the people that find inhale screaming uncomfortable or even painful. If you are one of them, then please ignore the inhales, because in such a situation you can seriously mess up your voice and your vocal folds. You can achieve any sound that interests you by practicing exhales, whistle register, banshee scream, pig squeals, nasty gutturals. You don't need the inhales at all. But if you still feel that you want to practice the inhales, find a teacher that is specialized in them and seek their help. If with their help you can comfortably master inhales and they don't mess up your voice and your exhaled vocals, perfect. But if they still feel painful, uncomfortable, then just ignore them and focus on the exhales. Summing up, if you feel that practicing inhale screaming doesn't cause any pain and discomfort and doesn't lower the quality or comfort level of your exhale screaming, then everything is fine. Especially if you use inhales in moderation and treat them more like an addition, not the main technique. And usually it's much more effective to start the vocal adventure with practicing exhales. For instance, taking a few singing lessons and mastering a basic false chord or fry scream, and then experimenting with the inhales. Alright, so here we have it. I hope that you will find it helpful, and if you need exercises for mastering fry scream, false chord scream, gutturals, singing with distortion or other extreme vocal techniques, check out the complete guide to extreme vocals. Thank you very much, have a great day and see you around.